Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first MICE webinar of South Korea in 2021. My name is Deepthi Gupta and I'm your moderator for today's training session. This training will be approximately for an hour and will be delivered by Sandeep Datta from Korea Tourism Organization. Before we begin, let me share a few guidelines so that we all have a seamless webinar experience. We recommend you to use headphones for better voice clarity. Refresh your screen if you face any difficulties. Keep a pen and notepad handy to make any notes while the webinar is on. Feel free to type in your questions in the Q&A box, which is at the bottom of your screen, and we will take it up after the presentation. Take the quiz once the webinar is over, and 5 lucky winners will win Amazon gift voucher. You will find the quiz at the bottom of your screen. We would also like to make an important announcement that we have an ongoing South Korea Mice and Bee Leisure Quiz Challenge program, which is different than the one I mentioned just now. We encourage all of you to take up the quiz challenge as it would be a great way to test your knowledge. We will be sharing the link at the end of the webinar. 15 lucky winners who complete the quiz challenge by 20th of December will win Amazon gift voucher. So good luck and happy learning. I will now request Sandeep to take over.
All right. Thank you, Deepthi. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time out to join us today for our MICE and Beleisure webinar. So before the year ended, we were getting a lot of requests from a lot of our travel partners that Sandeep, we need to have a refresher on Korea as a MICE destination. And that is why we thought of organizing this. And we thank Travel Gan team for putting it together so that we all can have a quick overview of the destination, get a quick update on South Korea as a MICE country, and look forward for a brighter and exciting future for next year. So before I start, please allow me a moment to share my screen so that I can have the presentation on the screen. Just allow me a moment. There's some small issue. Okay, Deepthi, can you confirm that can see the presentation on the screen?
Yes, it's there on the screen.
Okay, let's start. So we're going to start with the basics of South Korea as a destination for MICE, which begins with why is Korea as a destination. Of course, any country, when it comes to MICE travel or any kind of travel, the connectivity that it offers is the key when it comes to outbound travel. And of course, this is pre-COVID information, but South Korea is one of the best connected countries in the Northeast Asia part, with direct flight connections to 55 countries, 177 cities, and 85 routes, with direct flight connectivities from Delhi and Mumbai. We hope that the same will be resumed once the regular flights between the two countries are operational in early next year. Before the pandemic began, South Korea was actually one of the leading countries when it comes to MICE. And as you can see from the state statistics here, South Korea was the second ranked when it comes to the number of internationally recognized MICE meetings held in a country. In 2018, over 700,000 people participated in the MICE incentive support program, where we provide gifts, souvenirs, and other stuff, kind of support to everybody who travels to South Korea for MICE. I will explain the support program in the end once again. And a lot of people travel to South Korea to attend a lot of conventions and exhibitions. And in the times to come, we have already seen growing interest from the Indian community to have more exhibition participation in South Korea. So just to show you that right now we have around 18 MICE venues or convention centers all over the country. Some of them are on the verge of being built, but total there are 18 all over the country where you can not only organize events or attend events, but also have fantastic MICE facilities for all kind of gatherings. The flagship or the best MICE venue that we have in South Korea is COEX. This is located in Seoul City. As you can see from the data on the screen, it is not only a MICE venue, but it is almost like a micro city, which has almost 50,000 square meter of MICE convention space, three five-star hotels with almost 1,500 rooms. There is a direct shuttle bus connectivity to the international airport, which operates 60 times a day. There is a casino, multiplex, aquarium, and unlimited shopping and dining options. So it is like a complete arena where you can do everything at one place. If your guests are visiting this location, then not only can they get accommodation in one location, but also do all their paraphernalia outside the or outside the official program at one location. So COEX is one of our flagship places and one of the best places in Seoul City to do MICE events. The next venue that I wanted to show or talk about was Kintex. Is Kintex? It is the largest MICE venue that we have in South Korea, which has a gross exhibition space of more than 1 lakh square meter. More than a lakh 1 lakh people can be accommodated at one location, and this is where we had the biggest convention in Korea in 2016, the Rotary Convention, where we had almost 50,000 plus people gathered at one location at one place. Kintex is located just outside the Seoul city, so it's very conveniently located from the airport and the city. Another fantastic MICE venue, a new venue that we have is Suwon Convention Center. This is a new kind of concept of MICE platform where near a lake, where we have the first MICE complex with hotel, departmental stores, aquarium, and other commercial facilities integrated into the MICE venue. So it is not only meetings and events, but also everything else like dining and shopping and entertainment at one location. Songdo Conventia is the Asia's first LEED certified convention center, which follows all the guidelines of carbon neutrality. So if you have customers who are very conscious about environment and the climate change, and they want to have an event with the best of facilities and also not compromise on the carbon emissions, then you can always convince them to consider Songdo Convencia, a unique location where almost 3,000 people can be accommodated at one place, also located very conveniently near the airport and the Seoul city. If we go south of in the mainland, then we have Busan, where we have the flagship venue of Busan, which is called Bexco. As you can see from the venue, from the diagram, it is a really huge complex with multiple exhibition centers, convention halls, auditoriums, and venues, all at one place, everything facing the ocean on the other side. So it's a fantastic venue for you to be for events. My personal favorite is Jeju Convention International Convention Center in Jeju. This is a resort-style convention center located in the Jeju Island, overlooking the ocean on one side. It is also a location where you have uh, a resort-style convention center with duty-free shops, restaurants, food courts, and other locations, all in one place. Those were the prime locations when it comes to MICE venues or convention venues. But we realized that from India and from many countries, when we are taking MICE groups, we are not looking at very big MICE venues. Our MICE groups are usually around 50 to 100 to 200 people size. So for those, we have collated a list of 50 or almost 40 MICE venues all over the country, and we have divided them into four categories, which are art and culture, leisure time activities, complex facilities, and history and tradition. I'm just quickly going to show a few of them so that you can understand what is it all about. When we look at Seoul City, which is the capital city, we have nine such unique venues, from an island to the National Museum to a culture park, from a cruise to a floating island convention to a museum. There are different kind of venues available, starting from 30 people group to 200 people group. You can look at different options. When you receive this presentation, you can also click on those images and you will be redirected to the exclusive landing page of all the facilities where you can see what the venue is offering and what the capacity is all about in the venue. Another such location, another set of unique venues are located in Gyeonggi and Incheon. Now, this is important because let me explain quickly. If you see the map on the right side, the center blank area is the Seoul city, which is obviously the capital city and is an expensive destination uh, because it's the capital and everything comes at a premium price. But if you are looking to do an event on a budget and you are willing to travel a little bit, like a half an hour's to 1 hour's drive to go to the venue and come back, then you can look at venues at Incheon and Gyeonggi, which are adjacent to the Seoul city and have unique, amazing venues, but at almost half the price of what you will get something in Seoul city. For example, you have a Gyeongmyeong Cave, which is a gold mine converted into a theme park, which has meeting space inside. You have a folk village. You have a Hyundai Motor Studio, where you have the largest collection of Hyundai's cars, even cars that we have not seen in India, and you can do an event there. And you have unique other venues like traditional temples or cruises or modern venues. These are all located within an hour of drive from the Seoul city, and they come at a very, very competitive price. So always when you're looking at good price or good value for money for your customers, definitely check out the venues in Gyeonggi and Incheon, which are just outside the Seoul city, but still offer you everything that you can get from a city experience. If your customer is interested in leisure and wants to combine a lot of leisure activities from with their MICE events, then we recommend to you Gangwon-do, which is the northeast part of Korea, and it is the mountainous region of Korea, most mountainous region of Korea, and about 2 to 3 hours drive from the Seoul city or the airport. This is where you can have unique venues like a snow jumping center, a speedium where you can actually drive a race car. You have an island, you have theme parks, all of different sorts where you can do events of different sizes from small gatherings of 20, 30 people to large gatherings of 200, 300 people. All options are possible, again, at very competitive prices. Down south, of course, these are not very popular in India because in India we're mostly looking at Seoul and vicinity when it comes to mice. But if you were to choose locations in down south, then you have unique experiences in Cheonchang, Namdo, Jeollabuk-do, and Gwangju also. But still, a lot of people also prefer Busan, and Busan has a lot of options, as you can see from here, which include a cinema center, a museum, a Epic House, or a Bay 101, where you can do your events on the bank of an ocean. And lastly but not least, Jeju Island, if you were to take a group there, you have three different beautiful venues where you can do your events, which is a spirited garden, a museum, and a folk village. You can have different sizes of events organized in this beautiful location. Now we'll have a quick look at the unique destinations in South Korea which we promote in India and we will be actively promoting in India from 2022 onward. There are many places in Korea, but we are focusing on 6 places which we think will appeal the best to the Indian customer, which are Seoul, along with Gyeonggi and Incheon, which are the neighboring cities from Seoul, and Gangwon, Busan, and Jeju are the three other locations which have unique alternate experiences. Starting with Seoul, which is the capital city of Korea and the flagship of all MICE venues and destination. It is also one of the most popular cities when it comes to international meetings. In 2019, it ranked third in the number of internationally recognized meetings held globally, just after Singapore and Brussels. So you can see that South Korea and Seoul in South Korea are both very, very popular destination when it comes to international MICE and international meetings. One of the best venues where you can do your event in Seoul City is the Floating Island Convention. This is a combination of three floating islands on the Han River on the middle of the city, where you have different venues of different sizes along with amphitheater, along with shopping and dining options and entertainment options in one location. So from weddings to events to theme events to gala dinners, you can have it all while floating on a river. So it's a really amazing place to have MICE events and activities. If you have a very high profile delegation, which is usually a senior level government official, or you have a government delegation and you want to have a quiet or a well organized dinner for a small gathering, then we always recommend Korea House. This is a historical site built in 1957, almost 70 years old, where you can have a gathering and have a completely cultural themed experience of Korean traditional life history. You can have dining options from Korean to international menu. If you have vegetarian menu, can also be organized, and you can do a lot of cultural programs like theme activities or dance performances while people are enjoying their gala dinner in this location. When you're in Seoul City, one of the best activities that we recommend for all MICE groups and incentive groups is to visit the Gyeongbok Palace, which is the central and the largest palace in Seoul City, and take a tour while wearing the traditional hanbok. So there is a very interesting custom that in South Korea, if you wear the national costume or the traditional costume, then you don't have to pay the monument entrance fee for any of the national monuments. Now, how do you do that? There are rental shops where costumes are available just outside all national monuments, and the cost of renting the costume is almost the same as the cost of the ticket. So, if you do that, not only the experience of your client increases twofold, but your cost essentially remains the same. So, it's a good thing to remember while promoting or recommending a program for the MICE groups. A lot of people ask us about nightlife in South Korea and nightlife in Seoul. So, of course, the photograph that you see is a pre-COVID photograph of 2019. But what we want to essentially portray by this slide is that South Korea is a great place for night tours and nightlife activities. From bars to pubs to nightclubs, they all stay open till 4 a.m., 5 a.m. in the morning. And South Korea is a very, very safe country, and Seoul is a very safe city to travel to. So once your customers are free from their official program, even late in the night, they can step out, go have a drink, or have a good time at a nightclub and come back safely at early mornings without a cause of worry. So that way, South Korea is not only exciting but also very, very safe. The next destination we have is Gyeonggi, which is also called the next your next MICE destination, primarily because of the fantastic facilities that they offer at a very, very value for money price. As I explained earlier, Gyeonggi is the region which is neighboring or adjacent to the Seoul city, and it has very conveniently located to the convention center, the sightseeing attractions, and also the international airport. When you are in Gyeonggi, one of the best experiences that you can have here is to visit the DMZ and the JSA, which is the Demilitarized Zone and the Joint Security Area between the North Korea and the South Korea. This is the closest that you can get to North Korea. The photograph that is here is a very famous photograph where state leaders and high profile delegations visit and step on the North Korea on the other side and come back. So it's a once in a lifetime experience that if you have a high profile delegation, you can definitely recommend them for. I mentioned this earlier. We have a fantastic, unique venue in Gyeonggi, which is called Gyeongmyeong Cave. This is essentially an abandoned gold mine from the 1970s, which has now been converted into a theme park experience, where you have uh, this restaurant inside the cave. You also have a amphitheater where you can have an event for up to 100 people with presentation and everything, and you have different activities like treasure hunt and different themed experiences that you can do inside the cave. So really a unique venue for your customer. Then you have the Hyundai Motor Studio, one of my favorite places to visit in South Korea, because this is where you have a large set of Hyundai car exhibition at one place. You can see Hyundai's future technology, driverless cars, hydrogen powered cars, electric cars, and this is the only museum of its kind where you can actually open the doors and sit in all the cars that you see and take photographs. So just that adds value, or it just enhances the experience of your customer while they're at the venue. And after they do all of that, you can take them to a hall where you can have their meetings done and follow it up by a nice lunch or a dinner, depending upon a morning event or an evening event. The Korean folk village is also very, very interesting, especially if you have special interest groups, because there are a lot of activities that you can do here inside, starting with boat ride to crafts to pottery making to handicraft activities. You can do all of that with your group. If you want to do team building exercises, then also Korean folk village is a very good place because there are multiple activities that you can do. Divide the group depending on the group size into different groups and make them do different activities. You can easily spend 3 to 4 hours with your group in this location, and a half day experience can be planned out. Some other examples are Suwon Hwasong Fortress. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, again located in Gyeonggi, about an hour's drive from the Seoul city. Then you have the Wave Park, which is the world's largest and the first artificial wave pool. It is really an amazing place for somebody to enjoy water sports. And the best part is that this wave park is actually open 24 hours. So if you want to go and enjoy the water sport activities and the waves late in the night, you can do that also. Everland Theme Park, of course, is the largest theme park in Korea, amusement park with a lot of activities. And you can do a lot of rides and activities here, and also do gatherings where you can do events. Next, we have Incheon. Incheon is the city which is closest to the international airport, and it is also called a city which is closest to the world in Korea. It is also very, very interesting because recently in 2019, the Incheon also opened its largest international cruise terminal, which is adjacent to the international airport. So the cruise terminal and the airport also come at one place, making it a place of excellent connectivity from sea and by flight. And it is a location where you can have the Korea's first international conference complex, where you have business activities, cultural activities, and shopping activities, all in a 2 square kilometer area. So if your customer is if you're doing an event here with your customer, then after the event, everything is in a walking distance, be it a restaurant, be it a shopping item, or a cultural experience, or a shop, or a sightseeing activity. Everything is very well in a 2 square kilometer walking distance, which essentially means that you can save a lot on transportation in this location. Some examples of fantastic options of staying in Incheon are Gyeongwonji Ambassador, which is Korea's first luxury five-star hotel completely built in the Korean traditional style, where you can have traditional Korean royal hospitality with all the modern amenities. Then you have Oakwood Premier, which has a fantastic venue on the 65th floor, where you can have a group of around about 60 people, up to 60 people, for a fantastic gala dinner with drinks, with some presentation and meetings. Then you have Gangwon, which is South Korea's best leisure destination, where you can do a lot of sightseeing and activities along with the MICE group program. When we talk about Gangwon, first of all, we just have to explain the location in terms of connectivity. So Gangwon region has multiple cities like Pyeongchang, Sokcho, Yanyang, and everything is located, as you can see, maximum to maximum 3 hours from the Seoul city. So everywhere you go, it's very well connected, and you can have a variety of experiences in different cities. One of them is if you're traveling in the winters, you can visit the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Olympics venues. There are 9 ski resorts all over the region where you can have MICE events and also snow sports activities for your customers in the winters. There's another option of Alpenche Ski Jumping Center. Again, all infrastructure is modern, world class, and of the highest standard. We have a Nami Island, which is a very, very popular site when it comes to Korean dramas and Korean popular music. People who are into it would know and would definitely want to visit there. You can do a variety of activities and also get yourself clicked at very, very famous locations where a lot of popular Korean dramas have been shot. Then we have Busan, which is on the down south, where I already mentioned that Bexco is the largest venue that we have. Busan is Korea's second largest city, and it is the world's first largest international port city. It is also very, very well connected to Seoul with flight, bullet train, and road transportation. So, if you were to take a flight, it takes about 50 minutes. If you take a bullet train, it takes about 2.5 hours for a 500 kilometer journey with stops in between. Or if you were to drive, then you can reach from Seoul to Busan in 5 to 6 hours very conveniently. And a lot of people or some MICE groups do this. They combine Seoul and Busan and have Seoul arrival and Busan departure. So you can do that. You can have an open jaw connection where your group arrives in Seoul, spends 2 days in Seoul, takes a bullet train to Busan, spends 2 days in Busan, and then from Busan they take a flight back to India via the South Asian countries. So that option is possible when you connect Busan with Seoul. Busan Cinema Center is one of the biggest venues in Busan, which has a capacity of 5,000 people. Of course, it's an amazing venue, but even smaller groups can be accommodated in smaller venues. Nurimari Epic House is one of the flagship venues in Busan, where a lot of high-level state delegations and state visits has been conducted. World summits have been conducted here. So if you have a gathering of around 200 people, and they are of high standard, and the group has the premium capacity, then you can look at Nurimari Epic House as a fantastic venue for your events. While in Busan, a visit to the Gyeongsan Cultural Village is highly recommended. This is also known as the Santorini of the East because, as you can see from the photograph, it is a hillside or a cliffside with multiple houses which are decked up in variety of colors. So it's a great place to take Instagram-worthy photographs, spend some time in a cafe, and everything overlooks the cliffside and the ocean on the other side. So it's a really a beautiful place to visit and spend a couple of hours. For smaller groups, one of the nighttime activities that we recommend in Busan is a yacht tour. You can do it for multiple ways. You can have a small yacht tour for an hour, like a boat trip. You can combine it with dinner and drinks, or a night cocktails, or you can combine it with dinner drinks also. So there are different sizes of yachts available, from 30 people to a cruise of around 200 people, which you can hire on private basis for that for depending upon your group size. Then lastly, we have Jeju. Jeju is the resort island, which is also very famous in South Korea, especially because it is the only island which allows you to enter the country directly without a visa. It is also very, very well connected uh, uh, from internet point of view because it has the number one free public Wi-Fi distribution. So everywhere you go in the island, you are always connected to a Wi-Fi hotspot. So you're never really far away. And this is the only place in the world which has three UNESCO certification: a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and a UNESCO Global Geopark, which makes it a very, very unique location and island from environment and uh, natural beauty point of view. And it is a big island with a lot of activities and lot of accommodation options. You have more than 70,000 rooms in all different categories of hotels, with around 6,000 rooms in five-star high-end hotels also. Spirited Garden, as I already mentioned, is one of the most popular venues to have gala dinners or gala events in the island. You can also take your group to the Songsang Inchulbong Peak, which is the marquee site in Jeju Island, where you can actually climb the volcano and go on top of the volcano and take a selfie on top. It is a half an hour or 45 minutes walk all the way to the top and coming back. So it's definitely recommended for all the groups. Camellia Hill is a arboretum, which is also very beautiful with its pristine beauty and natural flora uh, placements, and it's also a great place to have themed events. Now, before we go to the last part, which is talking about the mice support, There are some unique experiences that are very, very unique to South Korea, and we recommend you to include them in your itinerary when you're traveling to Korea in the future. First of them is, Korean cooking classes. These are getting very popular these days, as we all know that Korean movies, Korean drama, Korean music is getting very popular amongst all age group, and it is also very popular in India also these days. And through the Korean dramas and the Korean music, the awareness and the popularity of Korean food is also getting very high. So if you have a group who are interested in unique activities, you can always recommend them for a unique Korean cooking experience. This is best available in Seoul and Busan. If people want to come, connect and do some rural activities, you can give them farming experiences in Jeju and Gyeonggi, where you can have local harvest like strawberries, tangerines, and blueberries. You can do team building activities. You can do treasure hunt. A lot of activities in these locations. Korean beauty is also a popular thing these days. If you have special interest groups, especially a group of women traveling, then you can recommend them in Seoul and Jeju. K beauty experiences where they can get to learn about the Korean beauty, the natural ingredients that they use, and also not only make some beauty product of their own, but also carry those beauty products along with other souvenirs that they want to purchase back to their home country. Temple stay, this is one of our flagship experiences in Korea, best experienced in Seoul and Busan, where your group, we recommend this for smaller groups, but if your group is around, for example, if your group is around 20, 30 people, you can take them to a temple, a Buddhist temple, a historical Buddhist site, and make them stay there for a half a day or a 1 day or a 2 day experience where they can live with the monk, live the Buddhist lifestyle, have some variety of experiences like tea ceremony, Korean Buddhist food experiences, and do prayers and chanting with the Buddhist monks also. So it's like a rejuvenation and uh, rejuvenation kind of a therapy kind of an experience for which is appreciated with a lot of high-end mice groups. Of course, like any other country, Korea has a low host of adventure activities or sporting activities available in Seoul, Busan, Gyeonggi, Gangwon, and other places. So if you want to combine snow activities or water sport activities or land activities or that kind of activities, everything can be organized in all cities in Seoul. Now we have the last part, which is the corporate meetings and incentives programs. Most of you will be already aware about this. Basically, we have a support program where we offer incentives and support to any group which is traveling for at least 2 nights or more to Korea and have a group strength of minimum 10 people or more. The group support obviously goes up and the group sizes goes up. But this year onwards, we have introduced a new support program, which is basically we are looking at commitments from corporates who would want to go to Korea in the near future. So if you have customers who wants to consider a new destination for 2022 or 2023 even, and you convince them to consider Korea, and they give us a commitment, of course, like a non-binding commitment, but if they give us some assurance that they want to go to Korea uh, in the next 2 years, then we can guarantee them in advance some additional support which will be exclusive to their groups uh, and applicable whenever they travel in 2022 or 2023. So this is something that you can always carry back and tell your customers or your corporates when you're having a meeting with them. Our support has different offers. It's a combination of different things depending on the size of the group. Starting with basic supports like souvenirs, and as the group size goes up, you can get complimentary tickets to performances, tourist attractions, and different kind of experience programs. If the group is large enough, we can also host welcoming events at the airport or the hotels also. In addition to that, if the corporate is interested and also gives a commitment to hold an event in Korea, we can also organize complimentary fam visits for them once travel opens up between the two countries. So basically, that was all. That was a refresher or a quick update or a quick refresher on the Korea Mice Incentive Program and what are the offerings for South Korea. With that, I wanted to close the screen share and we'll take up questions if you have any. So Deepthi, we'll take up questions now.
Yeah.
So
So,
I
audience,
have
if
a
you
couple
have
of
any,
questions that have already been received from
yeah,
all of you. Okay, there is a lot of options, but I can only take a few. One of the questions asked by Devesh is visa to Korea open for Indians? So as of now, long-term visa for Korea is open, which includes, long stays like business. So not business, but work or education or family travel. But short visas for tourism and business purpose is not opened yet. We are waiting for some kind of an update, which hopefully will come by the end of this year for short-term visa opening. Then we have a next question by Krishna M. Uh, how to get tourist visa? So tourist visa, as I said, is currently suspended, but it will be open very soon. And once it opens, you will get all the information that you need. You can connect with us or check with the website of the embassy. Uh, and tourist visa, at least pre-COVID was very simple. It was a very straightforward process. It takes about 4 days with the simple application and the passport and bank statement or ITR. Of course, we are waiting for new updates of the new guidelines for the future, but we assure you that the process will not be complicated. We have a question from Kushnuma, which is, will all these venues cater to Indian meals, please? Most of the venues that I've shown here will cater for Indian food. All venues will cater to vegetarian food and vegan requirements. So, international food and Korean food is available at all venues. Vegetarian food and vegan food is available at all venues. Customized Indian items might not be available at all venues, but it is depending upon the group size and your requirement. We can coordinate and let you know if Indian food can be made available or not. We have a question from Tarun Pal, which says that till what time can we expect visas to resume for visitors? So unofficially, we are expecting that by April, Korea will be open for travel for Indians for quarantine-free travel for short-term purpose, including business and tourism. But recently we have the this Omicron issue going on, so all announcements which were supposed to happen in December have now postponed to January. Even India postponed the opening of international flights, commercial flights, regular commercial flights from 15 December to 31st January now. So there is a short delay about before the announcements can be made. But please stay in touch with us, and we'll let you know whenever the visas or travel opens up. We have a question by Gambhir which says, how do we reach Gangwon and how much time is required? So Gangwon, as I said, is located anywhere between 2 hours to 3 hours from the airport and Seoul city. You have direct bullet train connectivity from the airport and the Seoul city to go directly to Gangwon, or you can travel by bus or by coach also. So both options are available. It is very, very conveniently connected. Gangwon hosted the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics in 2018. So the whole connectivity situation was completely sorted out by 2018, and every region has direct connectivity from Seoul and the airport. So traveling to Gangwon is not a problem. We have a question from Shabir, which is there any fee or entrance for the Hyundai Motor Studio? Yes. Hyundai Motor Studio has an entrance fee of around $10 per person. For somebody, if you want to see the museum and go to do the experience where they see Korean car manufacturing process, Hyundai experiences, they can do a lot of activities, which is the basic course. But if you are doing a MICE event, for example, hosting a event or a dinner or a ceremony there, then of course that is on a separate basis. Then this per person entrance ticket will not be applicable. It will be a conference venue charge that will be applicable. And we have a question from Shabir again, which is, can we connect? How do we conduct? How Can we conduct Norimaru MICE for our passengers, or it is only for government? Norimaru APEC House in Busan is available for all kind of customers, but it is a high-end venue, so it is a venue with a premium price tag. If you have customers who do want to have a really fantastic experience but can pay a little bit more, you can definitely recommend it to them. But it is available for all kind of customer. We have another question about Indian food, uh, availability of Indian food in other than Seoul and Busan. So this part was not exclusively covered in the presentation, but South Korea has more than 100 Indian restaurants all over the country. Of course, the main cities like Busan, Seoul, Jeju, or whichever that I mentioned here, which is including Incheon, Gangwon, they will all have the bulk of the restaurants. But most of the locations have Indian restaurants. They will be smaller in size, of course, but in the main cities like Busan and Seoul, you can have restaurants of up to more than 100 people. And if you have a larger group, you can split the group during sightseeing to have dinners or lunches done in different restaurants. All right, I think that are all the questions that we could take in right now. We want to keep the webinar crisp and short because we all know that we are all back in office and it is working time for all of us. We don't want to keep you away a lot, but please don't log off. Please listen to what Deepti has to offer now. She's going to talk about a quiz on this platform and another quiz, and we will actively encourage all of you to take part so that we can have all your responses. Over to you, Deepti.
Great. Thank you so much, Sandeep, for a wonderful presentation. And thank you, audience, for attending today's training session. Do not forget to take the webinar quiz, which is at the bottom of your screen. The screen will be open for the next 15 minutes. Also, the link for the South Korea Mice and Bee Leisure Quiz Challenge has been shared on the screen just now. So make sure to complete the quiz by 20th of December. We look forward to your participation. Thank you once again and have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepti. Is